Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, your YouTube messiah, often imitated, never duplicated superstar Tim Vicious. And we're talking about Raw as we was in Dallas, Texas. And, well, before we get into that, man, there is a lot of meat on the bone on wrestling news outside WWE-wise. And somewhat in WWE-wise in a way too, and I'll get into that. First things first, Fyter Fest was this past Saturday as of the time of this recording, and, well, I'm not going to lie, it was a good show. I mean, it didn't give that wow factor, you know, like Double or Nothing did. It was, and in no way, shape, or form is this an insult to AEW, Cody, the Bucks, or any of them, or anyone that worked on the show. Because, you know, I'm a big fan, and I'm a firm believer. The more promotions are out there, the more competition there is out there, the more places that wrestlers are able to work, the better off the business is. But, you know, it felt like a tentpole show. That's all. You know, that was it. Other than that, the only match that really screamed, wow, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm seeing this, was the Jon Moxley-Joey Janela match. That was it. Other than that, meh. So, other than that, now, other news, it was announced a few days ago that Paul Heyman is now the executive director of Monday Night Raw, and Eric Bischoff is now the executive director of SmackDown Live. So this is big news, you know, and it's very much so hoping for the best. You know, when it comes to wrestling, as a good rule of thumb, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And bringing Paul Heyman in, I cannot obviously see any downside, because I think Vince is really the only one who could handle Paul, and by putting him in by putting him on a leash, saying you have to follow by these specific standards. And well, we all know on how Bischoff can work, you know. So his track record speaks for himself. Now, last bit of news. It was announced First botch, and it's not even a whole 10 minutes in. July 13th on the WWE Network, Evolve is going to be airing their 10-year anniversary show on the network. This is huge news in a couple different ways. One, it's the first time the network, WWE is going to be hosting a non-WWE pay-per-view on their network. Two, this is going to give chance for a lot of guys that are not on their roster to shine. You know, yeah, you got guys like Austin Theory, who is freaking phenomenal. He could, you know, give him 15 minutes, I guarantee he's going to make a lot of fans that may not know who he is. And now, the other side to this coin to this news is, that very same day is AEW's Fight for the Fallen. A lot of people are saying WWE is doing that as regards to, you know, trying to pull viewers away from Fight for the Fallen on it, and while that may be the case, I don't know for certain. Just from my personal perspective, from my fan perspective, this is honestly what it looks like, straight up. They've had a deal with Evolve for X amount of years now. Triple H and Gabe Sapolsky have had this kind of deal. Very much so in the same way Vince McMahon had a deal with Paul Heyman with ECW. And if you look at it, in a way, it's kind of funny, because Vince had Paul with ECW, and Hunter has Gabe Sapolsky, who was Paul Heyman's protege. And Gabe heads up Evolve. So Gabe Sapolsky is a smart man. And he wouldn't do this kind of a deal if he didn't think it would help his business and his company. Now, my thing is, if people are going to say they're doing this to take viewership and buys from a charity show away, what's that say if Evolve just would have aired it through normal streaming services like it normally does? Would everyone make the same argument about Evolve doing that? Because as far as I'm concerned, this is Evolve cashing in on a huge opportunity that benefits them more than it benefits WWE. That's on how I'm seeing it. I mean, hell, the local promotion here in Erie, PA, PWR, I absolutely love them guys. They're doing a show on July 13th. Does that mean that they're taking viewership away from a charity show because of it? Evolve and get promotions, book venues and arenas months in advance. It's not like they have a show on July 1st and then right at the next day they say, oh hey, do you have an opening on next month? No, they book venues in advance. This show was booked, and this arena where Evolve was going to be at was booked months in advance. The fact that WWE just decided to say, hey, why don't we air it for you? You guys can have your show on our network. That way you can draw in more viewers. That's honestly on how it comes off. It's simple business. They're helping each other. Now, that said, let's get into the show. This was the first, and let me start by saying this is the first Raw under the Paul Heyman regime. And my God, it did not disappoint. Fucking beautiful. Started off Falls Count Anywhere match between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. These two started out with a brawling on the outside. Lashley, my God, he was fucking leading. It was beautiful. Threw a suplex onto Strowman. And I mean, like a good snap suplex right on him. Right onto the walkway. Next thing you know, Strowman, he starts to build a bit of a comeback. Throws Lashley up against the LED wall, and then Strowman, running charge, boom, slams him right into it. You see sparks, pyro fucking everywhere, and to the point where even Corey Graves slips up and says, holy shit, on live television. On live TV, and you know, with live TV, yeah, you have like a good 10, maybe 30-second gap between what happens there and what gets on TV. But I'm pretty sure that was a slip up. Because, yeah. Either way, that happened. Next thing you know, you hear people yelling, cut the power, get hosing down everyone with fire extinguishers. Both guys dead, limp, lifeless. And just, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, this was nuts. The way those sparks and the pyro all flew out, it looked like an old Japan explosive death match. Like somebody hit the one spot and the next thing you know, kaboom! It was like that. And I'm not sure if that was Paul's inspiration for this, but if it was, brilliant. But either way, both guys got taken out in an ambulance. And throughout the show, you kept hearing wrestlers saying all night, you know, really best wishes to Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. Hope they get back. But yeah, that just, wow. Alright, so next up, next tag match, we got Viking Raiders going against the New Day, Big E and Woods. And they start off by killing Big E. You know, the Raiders, they just go and take out Big E, which is saying something. Because, you know, Big E, he's the powerhouse of the team. 300+ pound power lifter. The guy's shown immense strength and all that. You know, Eric and Ivar, they just took him out like he was a freaking 120-pound jobber. Which is saying something. And it was beautiful. And just as Big E looked like he was about to get a hot tag on the Woods, next thing you know, Joe comes out of nowhere, pulls Woods down, chokes him out with the Coquita clutch to the point where Kofi runs down, starts jab slapping Joe. It gets into a big brouhaha, which now leads us into a 6-man match with all of the New Day going against the Raiders and Joe, which... that just sounds like a scary combination because, okay, I know Eric and Ivar are straight edge, just like yours truly. But, man, could you just imagine running into those three guys in a bar and just doing something to piss them off? Because that is honestly the last thing you are going... those three faces would be the last thing you see before you wake up 5 months later in a triage unit. Or in the ICU unit, I should say. So, yeah. As far as this went, Woods wound up becoming a punching bag, which makes sense because Woods got choked out. He got hit with the Coquita clutch. He was choked out. So, why not play to it? He's been winded. He's gassed. He's out of it. Yeah, he can't fucking fight. But he's trying. Next thing you know, Kofi gets the hot tag in. He starts working house. And, man, it's just beautiful action all around. Really dug on how they were doing it, you know. Just, man, I still can't. I've been a fan of the Raiders for God knows how many years now. And I still can't get over on how freaking phenomenal it is to see Ivar fly. You know, be as agile as he is. They are a contradiction. You got Eric, who's the shorter of the two. He's the massive powerhouse. You got Ivar, who's the taller and the bigger dude. And he's the 300+ pound fire. Just wow. Match wound up coming to an end, though, when after Ivar, he did a suicide dive. He went to go back up. Kofi, while he's on the apron, Kofi, boom. Caught him with a Trouble in Paradise. Next thing you know, right after that, Joe, boom, pops in a Coquita clutch to the point where Kofi not taps out, but passes out. Next thing you know, ring the bell, ring the bell. And that's that. Now, Corey wound up hitting that. There's rumor speculating that it may be a ladder match between Kofi and Joe at Extreme Rules, which I'd be cool with. It makes sense, you know? Give them that. So, next up we got, well, you could say it was a match, but it was more like a piss break moment. No Way Jose going against Cesaro, but this was more so just as a segment for Truth and Drake Maverick with the 24/7 title, which I have yet to talk about on this show until now, but my God, that is one of the best things that they have done in the past 5 years is make that title, because it is just so fucking funny. Just seeing all the random skits that you keep seeing on, like, on the shows, on the websites, Twitter, YouTube, all that shit. It's just fucking funny. And if you ain't a fan of the 24/7 title, man, okay, you need to pause this show, look up the DDT Pro Iron Man Championship, then you're going to see why it's funny, and then you're going to compare that belt. I want you to compare the hilarious, stupid shit with that title compared to the 24/7, and you're going to understand it. So yeah. Now, Cesaro, he pretty much kills Jose. There's never a match. So let's get into the next actual match. Lacey Evans, going against Natalia. And Lacey leading. Now, this, if I had to say there was a ho-hum part in the show, I would probably say this was pretty much it. just simply because of the lack of enthusiasm to lead into this match. You know, I mean, there was, because you look at it, we'll scratch out Jose and Cesaro because that was more so just a segment for Truth and Maverick. There was build-up on the 10-minute lead-in into Raw. They announced that they were going to lead with the last man standing. As Strowman and Lashley are coming down the aisles, they lead up to that tag match between Woods, Biggie, and the Raiders. Then the action leads into the 6-man. And, you know, and there was a sense of anticipation leading into all of this, and there wasn't any on this one. So if I had to say there was a ho-hum moment, it was for this. Match came to an end when Natalia, just as she was starting to build a comeback, Corbin, who was outside cheering Lacey on, distracted Natalia. Next thing you know, she turns around and boom, gets the infamous women's right from Lacey. 1, 2, 3, that's it. So next matchup we got, God fucking damn it, Elias against Miz. Yeah. Now, I'll give credit where credit's due. I liked on how this was because it was a 2 out of 3. Miz, he got the first pin right out the gate. Next thing I started working a little bit. Elias wound up scoring the second. You know, and then they went to commercial. They came back. It was decent back and forth between each other after the commercial. Next thing you know, match wound, fast forward, match comes to an end. Miz gets the win using a figure 4. Gotta say, it was a good win. It was a good, different way to win because you already hit him with the skull-crushing finale on the first one. What else could you do to score a second win? You know? Next matchup, we got a mixed tag match. Seth and Becky going against Mike and Maria Kanellis. And, man, I'm not going to lie. I was a little concerned for Maria just because Carl Anderson's in the building and there's, ooh, Maria. If you understand the reference, you're awesome. So, now, with this, it was built up because they were doing it. Seth and Becky were doing an interview to build up their match coming up at Extreme Rules. And then Maria jumped in saying, I can have my man kick your man's ass. And then Becky said, alright, well, why don't you two come on out and we'll see who's the tougher. Paraphrasing, mind you. And then, so yeah. Next thing you know, they go forward with it, and awesome to see Mike Bennett out there. Awesome to see Mike Bennett out there. Really loved seeing him. Been a huge fan of his since his days in Ring of Honor. You know, now, he wound up going out there, pretty much Seth wiped the floor with him, and then Seth drug him over, made Maria tag, and then after that Maria was like, no, 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 no. And then just as it looked like Becky was about to go hit her, she said, no, you can't, I'm pregnant! And then it was just like, what? Like, what? Okay, I'm confused. Yeah. So yeah, Becky winds up locking the disarmor on Mike Bennett. He taps out. Next thing you know, Maria gets in the ring, says Mike's not half the man as Becky is, and maybe next time she looks to have a kid, she'll have Becky do it, which, and now let the fan fiction for lesbian erotica commence, because God knows wrestling fans are good with that shit. Next up, we got an impromptu match, Carmella versus Nikki Cross. This came to be because when Alexa had a moment of bliss going on, she was interviewing Nikki. Carmella comes out, interrupts her, then challenges her to a quick match. Challenges her to a match which ends in literally just as fast as it began with a roll-up. And then Nikki winds up doing a match instead with her. And Nikki, she just exploded all over on Carmella. And wow, that was a horrible way to transit the segue into this, because given the shit that I just said a minute ago, talking about weird lesbian fan fiction. I really gotta think on this shit. Hey guys, do you think we should start working on scripts? I don't know, maybe. If you're okay with it, cool. But if you think if you guys think we should start doing production meetings and work on scripts for the show, say something down below. Anyways, match winds up coming to an end with Nikki hitting a swinging neck breaker on Carmella and getting a 1-2-3. Alexa did not interfere at all at any point in time. She was just out there, you know, which was really cool. Now we come to the main event of the night. AJ Styles Ricochet U.S. title match. And this came to be because the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, wound up talking Uncle Allen up into going and challenging Ricochet for a U.S. title match. So it got put on. Now, there was really good back and forth at the start of it. Styles wound up hitting a phenomenal forearm. Wound up, next thing you know, 1, 2, 3. That was it. However, Ricochet's foot was under the ring. So, ref didn't see it. A second ref came out to make the argument otherwise. So they had to restart the match. But, I don't know. That confuses me. That kind of spot always confuses me, because why are you going to have a ref come out and say something for that one match, but not have a ref come out for any other time there's a moment like that, like when a heel has their feet on the ropes, or somebody has their foot on the rope and the ref doesn't see it. You know, that kind of moment just makes me scratch my head like, well, why aren't you doing that with every other one? You know? But either way, they restart. Next thing you know, again, they go back and forth. Really good, solid action. Absolutely love this. Guarantee if Davey wound up seeing this in the Tokyo Dome, he would have thrown 12 5/16 of a star to it. But since it's on Raw, and he apparently has a thing with McMahon, and he just doesn't seem to appreciate stupid shit that could be fun, you know, he would probably just give it 2.5 or something. But Ricochet scores the win with a quick roll-up, and again, it makes sense with this kind of a win, because last week AJ wound up getting a win with a tap out, then he got a win using his finisher. Ricochet knows Styles is out for a kill, so he's got to end this quick. What's a quick way to end the match? Roll up. Duh. So yeah, afterwards, after the match, Styles and Ricochet look at each other, look like they're about to adhere to the code of honor. Next thing you know, Gallows and Anderson, who are outside, wind up climbing up on the apron, and they're like, whoa, whoa. And then Styles, wham, takes Ricochet out, and then the Good Brothers all proceed to go home and stomp a mud hole in them. The club is back. The boys are back. So let the fun commence. Now the only thing we need is Finn riding with them. So that is it for this week's show, folks. So like on normal, like on normal, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure you look for me on my Twitter, Tim Vicious. You also got another account if I get put in Twitter jail or I'm suspended. Ghosted, Tim_Vicious. Also on my Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you look for me on my Facebook gimmick, let me know you found me on there from here, or my Twitter gimmick, or Twitter at Tim Vicious. So I'm thinking I can keep John going. Also, folks, make sure you check out these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mulligan, Kenny Killer, DSB_IV, Cranky Asshole, Dazzy MWP, and Sergeant Curry Pants. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.